Hello and welcome to the Canvas Tenure Shell. We wanted to do a walkthrough and answer any questions that you could potentially have and make sure that you know that eLearning is here to support you with Canvas questions. If you have tenure questions, always make sure that you talk to your dean or tenure@greenriver.edu or the vice president of instruction. So we wanted to make sure that we give you a quick tour and potentially answer any questions that you might have. But in addition, we wanted to show you the differences between the last tenure shell and this one. So just like the last tenure shell, or if you're new to this is the homepage. And there is a welcome video that walks you through the basics. But you can always start here. This will take you to the modules. This will take you to the modules. And modules are over here. And modules are where everything lives. So that is always the best place to start. And you can find the contract if you ever need to request online student feedback. As a chair, this is where you do it. And you'll need to do that for your tenure track faculty member every quarter. There's quarterly checklists, there's big comprehensive checklists, and there's also tenure track faculty member specific checklists. You can get tenure help and resources here. It'll take you to this page where everything is here that you could possibly need. And so it's all here, tutorials, all of the things. They're right there. If you ever need to request observation access in Canvas for an online course, you do that here. And that's the basics. And if you need to get a hold of us, elearning@greenriver.edu, please don't hesitate. Now, to get started, there's this whole Getting Started module that goes over the difference between academic versus tenure years. And we wanted to start with that because they are very, very different. And so we wanted to make sure that tenure track faculty members, new chairs, everyone is aware. The academic year looks normal, if normal is even a thing. Year 1, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. Year 2, quarter 4, quarter 5, quarter 6. And year 3 is quarter 7 and quarter 8. And the tenure year is just incredibly different. Year 1 is the fall of quarter 1 and the beginning of Q2 winter. So Q2 is like split between year 1 and year 2. It's really odd. Year 2 is the end of that second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, and the beginning of the fifth quarter. That fifth quarter is again split between year 2 and year 3. In year 3, in tenure years, is that end of the quarter 5, quarter 6, quarter 7, and that quarter 8. And that's because that's when it goes to track and the Board of Trustees. So that's why it's split that way. We have broken this down into tenure track faculty members, TRC resources, TRC chairs, and then just stuff that you're going to need. So for the tenure track faculty member, you have this, and these are tabs at the top. Each tab has different stuff. So this is a frequently asked questions. There are tenure track faculty member resources. For this, there's a faculty handbook that you can check out. It's pretty cool. This is for not just tenure track faculty members, but everybody. And it has things on course design, course development, course facilitation, etc. And the tenure track faculty member handbook. So this tenure track faculty member handbook is here, and you can find it at any time you need. And then there's TRC resources, and that is the Tenure Review Committee. And it has the same structure. Frequently asked questions, resources for the TRC, And then the full comprehensive track schedule. So for every single quarter, it tells you what the track is doing and when. We wanted to make sure that that was in the TRC resources so you could easily always get to the track schedule. There are templates for documents that you may need, and there's agenda and minutes, tenure track faculty member reports. As a tenure track faculty member, you're going to need to write some things. So we have some templates to help get you started. And then we have tenure review committee reports as well that will help you. They're based on the contract, so you can find them here. And these are a good jumping off point for you if you're struggling to know what to say or what to put in your report. And then chair resources, it's that same tabbed structure. Oh, this one isn't because it's only one page. But chair FAQs are here, and you can click on each thing and it'll tell you exactly what to do here. So if you have questions, just click on the little down arrow and it'll take you to what you want to know. And then the faculty contract is right here. MOUs are over here, and you can always find those at the instruction site. The TRC committee members and roles, you will be, as the chair, will be filling this out with the specific information that you need to have. And that's one of the first duties of a chair, is to edit this. So you hit edit, and you're going to insert your tenure track faculty member. You're going to insert the name of the chair, and then you're going to insert the different positions. The division rep, the UF rep, the TTFM choice, and the administrator. So edit, change this information, and then hit save. And that is so everyone knows who is who in the tenure review committee structure. Now, getting down to this. If you were here last year, you remember that everything went by quarter. If you weren't, this is all new information, and that is fine, but we wanted to make sure that this was streamlined and a little bit easier. So the year one is going to have report instructions, and it's that same tabbed structure, and it'll have everything that needs to be included in the report. So this is a comprehensive list, and you can always hit up the templates page if you need help for these things, but it breaks it down by quarter, what you're going to need in quarter one, what you're going to need in quarter two. It'll tell you how to add files, and then the track schedule just for quarter one and just for quarter two. And that is at the top. This is for this whole year one report. We have now put each quarter in this year one report, and this is all you have to add files to. If you were here last year, you'll remember that you had to add the files once up in the quarter and once down, and again down in the yearly report. Now we're just doing this on a yearly report basis with the quarters embedded within the year. And so, for example, for quarter one, it's right here in your year one report. You're only going to have to add a file once to this, and then you're done. And each year will have this year one report instructions. Each quarter is going to have quarterly checklists that tell you what to include just in that quarter, and a quarter one comprehensive checklist, and then a tenure track faculty member checklist. And what you're going to do as chair, if you are the chair, is you are going to go and you are going to add the files. So all of the meeting minutes you will go here, you'll click File, and you will either create a file where you choose files from your computer, and this is connected to my OneDrive, but you can choose from anywhere on your computer. I'll just pick a dummy file here. Let's pretend that this is meeting minutes number 1. And you would just add it. Okay, so let's pretend that this is the file we want. And then you just add the item. And it's going to be incredibly annoying. It'll add it to the bottom, and you just you hover over these little dots, and you pull it up to where you want it. And then you indent it. You want to indent it twice so it's clearly below that Q1 minutes. And that's how you add files. And you're going to do this for each one of these things. So your non-evaluative observation, the student feedback summary, and the quarterly reflection self-evaluation statement are all going to be up here. And you're going to do the same for quarter 2. Again, the quarter 2 checklists are here, specific to quarter 2. Everything you need is here. Comprehensive checklists. And you just add the files below. And you're going to have a year 1 committee action on tenure. That is a recommendation that you as a committee make. If you need help on that, remember, you can always go up to the templates, and there's a sample doc for you where you can take a look and see, what's in it. Each one of these templates has a summary, a recommendation, and this is based on what is in the contract. So hopefully these will be helpful if you need to figure out what to put in something. And the same is here for year 2. You'll notice that the year 2 report is much more comprehensive because there's more quarters, but it follows that same pattern. At the beginning of year 2, there is the year 2 report instructions, and every quarter there's the quarterly checklists, and then the stuff that you need to add here. So you're just going to add files beneath these, and then you're done. And the same for year 3. Year 3 report instructions, the checklists, and the committee action on tenure, and the optional correspondence. If you have questions ever about tenure or what to put in things, you should, first course of action, ask your dean and then the vice president of instruction. If you have questions about Canvas or how to organize stuff, that kind of thing, please contact elearning@greenriver.edu. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you have any questions, please reach out.